Welcome to English Omi, out of the podcast that helps you speak English naturally, step by step, every day. I'm Omi, your English learning buddy. Let's begin today's journey.
Empty Your Mind, a powerful story about finding inner peace. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Omi. I'm Omi, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. You know, after 4 decades of teaching English and working with students from all walks of life, I've learned that language is more than just words and grammar. It's about connecting with stories that touch our hearts and teach us valuable lessons about life. Today, I want to share with you a beautiful story that has deeply moved me. A story about a young man's journey to find peace in a restless world. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let me take you to a small village surrounded by mountains, where an important life lesson is waiting to be discovered. In this peaceful village nestled among the mountains, there lived a 24-year-old young man named Marco. Now, Marco wasn't living the peaceful life you might imagine in such a beautiful place. No, his mind was constantly racing, filled with an endless stream of thoughts that never seemed to stop. From the moment he woke up until he tried to sleep at night, different thoughts came and went like waves crashing on a shore. These thoughts weren't peaceful companions. They made him feel uneasy, exhausted, and deeply troubled. Marco spent his days dwelling on regrets from his past and worrying endlessly about what the future might bring. His mind had become like a violent storm, with no calm moments, no stillness, no rest. He couldn't sleep properly anymore, and the simple joy of smiling had become a distant memory. Marco was suffering, and he knew he needed help. One day, as fate would have it, Marco heard something that sparked a glimmer of hope in his troubled heart. People in his village were talking about a wise old man who lived in a faraway village high up in the hills. This wasn't just any ordinary person. This old man had once been a renowned psychologist in the busy city, someone who had dedicated his life to helping people find peace within themselves. He had guided countless individuals through their darkest moments and had taught them the art of calming their minds. But now, in his later years, he had chosen to leave behind the noise and chaos of city life. He had retreated to a quiet village surrounded by nature, where he lived simply and peacefully. Occasionally, he would share his wisdom with visitors who made the journey to see him. When Marco heard this, curiosity and hope filled his heart. He thought to himself, "Perhaps this wise man holds the answer I've been searching for. Maybe he can show me the path to peace." Without hesitation, Marco decided he would make the journey, no matter how difficult it might be. After many days of traveling through challenging terrain, tired and exhausted, Marco finally arrived at the village in the hills. As he walked through the quiet paths, he came upon a small, humble house, beautifully covered with green vines and surrounded by nature. On the porch of this simple home, the old man was sitting in complete stillness. His eyes were gently closed, and an aura of profound peace radiated from him. Marco approached quietly and spoke with a soft, respectful voice. "Grandfather, my mind gives me no rest. Thoughts never stop coming, one after another. I desperately want to find peace in my heart. Can you please help me?" The old man slowly opened his eyes, and a warm, knowing smile appeared on his face. He looked at Marco with compassion and understanding, then said calmly, "So, you're searching for peace? Well then, come with me. I have a small task for you to complete." The old man led Marco to his modest little yard, and there he picked up a glass. He filled it with water all the way to the very top, so full that the surface tension held the water in place. Even the slightest movement would cause the water to spill over. He carefully handed this completely full glass to Marco and gave him clear instructions. I want you to walk from here to the edge of the village and then walk all the way back to me. But here's the important part. You must not spill even a single drop of water. Not one drop. Marco looked at the old man with surprise and uncertainty, but he was determined to succeed, so he accepted the challenge. He gripped the glass carefully with both hands and began his journey. The path ahead wasn't easy. The road was narrow and filled with activity. Villagers were walking past. Children were running around playing. Shopkeepers were loudly calling out to customers, and dogs were barking here and there. It was a scene full of distractions. But something remarkable happened. Marco didn't let his attention wander. His eyes remained fixed only on the glass in his hands. He walked slowly, deliberately, carefully placing one foot in front of the other. People passing by looked at him with curiosity and surprise, but no one interrupted him. They sensed that something important was happening, that he was learning a valuable lesson. Finally, after what seemed like a very long time, Marco returned to where the old man was patiently waiting. With a sense of accomplishment, Marco said, "Grandfather, I did it. I completed the task. I didn't spill even one drop of water." The old man nodded approvingly and smiled warmly. But then he asked Marco a very interesting question. "That's wonderful, but tell me something. Did you happen to see the children who were playing on the side of the road? Did you hear the dogs barking and the shopkeepers calling?" Marco paused, looking puzzled, and answered honestly, "No, grandfather, I didn't see or hear any of those things. My entire focus was on the glass and not spilling the water." The old man's smile grew wider, and he spoke with gentle wisdom. "And that, my dear boy, is the secret you've been searching for. It was always inside you, but you never knew it was there. When your mind stays fully present in this moment, right here and right now, there is simply no space for fear to enter. There's no room for confusion, no space for unnecessary thoughts to torture you. While you were walking with that glass, you were thinking only about the water. At that precious time, your mind became completely quiet and still. You weren't dwelling on regrets from your past. You weren't worrying about fears of the future. You were simply here, now, in this moment." Slowly, like dawn breaking after a long, dark night, Marco began to truly understand the profound lesson. This was the peace he had been desperately searching for all along. Peace isn't something we need to travel far to find. Peace isn't hidden in some distant mountain or special place. Peace is already within us, waiting patiently to be discovered, and it reveals itself when we learn to live fully in the present moment. Marco bowed his head with deep gratitude and said softly, "Grandfather, now I finally understand. If I want to calm the storm in my mind, I must keep my attention anchored in this present moment. That is when real, lasting peace comes." The old man smiled one more time as the sun began to set, casting golden light across the village. Birds were flying back to their nests for the evening. Marco began his journey back home, but he was no longer the same restless, troubled young man who had arrived days before. He had been transformed. He carried peace within his heart because now he knew the secret of calming the mind. My dear friends, thank you so much for spending this time with me today on English Omi. If this story touched your heart the way it touched mine, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need to hear it. And please, Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can continue this journey together, exploring more inspiring stories and lessons that can enrich our lives. Until next time, I'm Omi, wishing you peace, presence, and a calm mind. Stay well, my friends, and remember, the peace you seek is already within you. See you soon.
Thanks for spending time with me on English Omi today. Remember, small steps every day lead to big progress. If you like this episode, follow the podcast and share it with a friend.